Half-hour shows are my jam. I can squeeze in an episode or two while entertaining my 8-month-old with blocks for like the 100th time that day. Hey, it turns out entertaining a baby? Super boring. So, needless to say, I love the shorter format. It keeps me engaged and it keeps me clicking that next episode button every time. So today I want to count down 5 of my favorite bingeable shows streaming right now. I want to preface this countdown by saying that all the shows that I chose only have 2 seasons or less, making them that much easier to binge. See what I did there? I see you out there, short attention spans. Which is pretty much everybody, huh? Now, if I was going to do an episode on my favorite half-hour show with several seasons, it would have to be the one and only Insecure. This show soothes me and it makes me giggle all at the same time. And it makes me appreciate the beautiful city that I get to call home. So I had to do a quick montage giving a shout out to the HBO smash hit Insecure.
Go, shawty. It's my birthday. But no one cares because I'm not having a party. So how are you? You know, the last time I saw you...
It was months ago. We ain't gotta get into it.
I know as Black women, it can feel like there's a lot of things stacked against us. We feel invisible at work. We feel the pressure to have the perfect relationship.
Hey, where are all the good men at? Where are your exes? Let me run up on them like you running up on mine.
Oh, God, this party is lit!
I'm so glad to see y'all. I'm already over my mommy friends. They spend so much time worrying about appearances and not being real. Can you imagine?
Oh, that's crazy. Yeah, picture that. Looking like all 3 Jennifer Hudsons. 1, 2, 3. Oh, okay. That's it?
Now that I've expressed my love affair with Issa Rae and Insecure, we can move on with the countdown. Coming in at number 5 is the groundbreaking series Shrill, starring the uber-talented Aidy Bryant from SNL fame. Shrill is based on the memoir of the same name, written by Lindy West. It's a body-positive story about a self-proclaimed fat woman named Annie who wants to make positive changes to her life without making changes to her body. This series is so refreshing. Aidy Bryant has this brilliant monologue at the end of this episode called Pool, where she talks about how she's tired of being ashamed of her body. Because she's not even the one ashamed. Other people are making her feel ashamed. Don't you see how messed up that is?
You don't think the whole world isn't constantly telling me that I'm a fat piece of who doesn't try hard? Every magazine and commercial and weird targeted ads telling me to freeze my fat off or to drink a tea so that I'll my brain out my ass. And at this point, I could be a licensed nutritionist because I've literally been training for it since the 4th grade.
That speech in Revelation inspires her to write an article called Hello, I'm Fat for the publication that she's currently working for. And to her happy surprise, there are other women out there who read it and they want to celebrate her and celebrate themselves for not fitting in a size 0. Man, the pressure we feel from society and outside sources to be a certain size, it's bonkers. The wardrobe on Shrill was a big standout for me. I even read that Annie became some sort of a plus size icon. They dressed her in a lot of bright colors and really cool patterns. Aidy is perfectly complemented by her supporting cast, and a big shout out to Lolly Adefope, who plays her best friend Fran. She gets some more love in season 2, and seeing her character develop was a real treat. Annie's parents are played by the one and only Daniel Stern and Julia Sweeney, who, fun fact, played a nun on one of my favorite episodes of Sex and the City. Rounding out the main cast is Luka Jones, who plays the douchebag boyfriend Ryan. Now, this guy is a piece of work. In the beginning, he hides his relationship with Annie. His mom still does his laundry. The guy is the worst. The character, not the actor, I want to make that clear. Luka Jones is great in this role. With only 14 episodes over 2 seasons, this is such an easy show to binge. All episodes are streaming right now on Hulu, and I believe there's another season coming out in 2021, so get caught up by then. You'll be glad that you did. Rolling right along to my number 4 pick is the Apple TV series Mythic Quest: Raven's Banquet. Created by and starring Rob McElhenney, his co-creators are fellow It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia folks, Charlie Day and Megan Gans. I was weary about diving into the show because, for one, I'm not a gamer, and for 2, I'm not a gamer. I was worried it might be a little too bro-y, and I really haven't watched anything that testosterone-filled since Silicon Valley, which I enjoyed quite a bit. But I really felt that Monica's character needed to be a bigger part in the earlier seasons. Those guys were dying for more female energy. But it turns out that the women in this show actually have some really juicy stuff to dive into, and there was a lot of diversity amongst the cast, which I really appreciated. Mythic Quest follows Ian, the owner of a successful video game design company, and his troubled staff while they struggle to keep their game on top.
Yes, today is a little bit abnormal.
Except it's not, is it? This is just another Tuesday.
If you haven't guessed, I love supporting casts. I oftentimes find that they are more interesting than their leads, and this show is no different. Charlotte Nickdeo, an Australian newcomer, plays Poppy, the head coder who has to bring Ian's crazy visions to life. Danny Pudi plays Brad, the money guy who could care less about the actual game. Very opposite of his character of Abed on Community, which is another half-hour show I highly recommend. David Hornsby, also from It's Always Sunny fame, plays David, the executive producer who has a really hard time demanding respect from his peers. And he has an assistant played by Jessie Ennis, and she is genius as the character of Jo, and maybe a little psychotic in a good way. And video game royalty Ashley Birch plays a tester who's in love with her coworker. And there's an online influencer named Pootie Shoe, and he rates games in buttholes. Why didn't I think of that? My favorite episode of the season is actually a standalone episode called Dark Quiet Death, starring Jake Johnson and Kristen Milioti. It's like watching the Before trilogy, but on a smaller scale. I guessed quite early in the episode how this random story was going to play into the big picture of Mythic Quest, but how they ended up doing it was just... The series has 11 episodes in its first season, which includes a quarantine episode where the character of Poppy goes through a roller coaster of emotions that I think we can all relate to right now. I won't give any more away because the scene is very powerful and you all should check it out. Also, they do a Rube Goldberg at the end of the quarantine episode, and I'm super embarrassed to admit I had no idea what a Rube Goldberg was. But it definitely sent me down a little bit of a YouTube spiral where I was doing nothing but watching Rube Goldberg videos. So well played, Mythic Quest, well played. You can catch the series exclusively on Apple TV, and I look forward to season 2 sometime next year. Now, my number 3 pick is not a particularly new series, but it is a must-watch. I'm talking about FX's Atlanta. Unless you've been living under a rock, this show stars Donald Glover, Lakeith Stanfield, Brian Tyree Henry, and Zazie Beetz, 4 of my favorite actors working today. I had to highlight this show because they do such a good job of throwing you off the beaten path. Most notably the Teddy Perkins episode in season 2, which was shot almost exclusively at one location. After I finished that episode, I was like, what in the actual fuck did I just watch? And then the next episode, they're just on to the main storylines like nothing ever happened. It gives you whiplash in such a brilliant way. There are some through storylines like the will they won't they romance between Ern, played by Donald Glover, and Van, played by Zazie Beetz. And also Paperboy's rap career, which Ern manages. No one needs to be told that Donald Glover is extremely talented on and off camera, but he also knows how to highlight the talents of his fellow castmates. The show covers everything from economic struggle to race to parenthood to family. There's even a Juneteenth episode, which I'm so ashamed to admit that was the first time I had heard of Juneteenth.
Happy Juneteenth! Oh, where is Craig?
Happy Freedom Day! Welcome.
During this time of unrest and seeking of justice and equality, I cannot recommend enough diving into Ern's world. Atlanta currently has 22 episodes streaming on Hulu and more seasons in the works. My next pick at number 2 is a steamy drama. I'm talking about the show Normal People, and I have to warn you before you watch, it might leave you questioning all of your life choices and make you want to run off to Ireland and start up a romance with a 20-something. Trust me, you'll know what I'm talking about. Normal People is based off of Sally Rooney's sophomore novel by the same name. It stars newcomers Daisy Edgar-Jones as Marianne and Paul Mescal as Connell, and these two have chemistry like I have not seen since Angela Chase and Jordan Catalano.
Why are you like this?
Like what?
Like how you are.
Hey, Jordan, you coming or not?
How am I?
And if you don't know what I'm talking about, you can get off my channel. Marianne and Connell are from the same small town, but from very different backgrounds. Marianne is rich, unruly, mysterious. Connell is a quiet, brooding athlete, and his mother works as a housekeeper for Marianne's family. The two interweave in and out of one another's lives seamlessly and destructively. Also, they really nailed the sex scenes. Pun intended. Their intimacy starts off innocent and awkward, but it morphs into something different as they enter new stages of life.
Look, I would never hurt you, okay? You make me really happy. I love you. I do. I'm not just saying that, Marianne, I really do.
The closest thing I can compare this narrative to is the film Like Crazy. Both Normal People and Like Crazy take you on an emotional roller coaster step by step, and then they leave you hanging out to dry. Rest in peace, Anton. You are missed. I have to give a shout out to the two directors of the series, Linny Abramson, who also directed Brie Larson in the Oscar-nominated film Room, and Hetty MacDonald, an English director known for series like Howard's End on Starz and Doctor Who on the BBC. These two do a wonderful job of bringing out the little subtle changes in each character as they move through several stages of life. What I loved most about this series is the accurate portrayal of first love and deep human connection. Also, when you finish watching, go on Instagram and follow the handles Marianne's Bangs and Connell's Chain. When you're finished with the series, you will know what I'm talking about and you will want to see this stuff on your feed. With only 12 episodes in one season, you should absolutely invest your time in Normal People. All episodes are streaming right now on Hulu. My number one pick is a series I had been anticipating for quite some time. I'm talking about the FX series Dave. Dave stars Dave Bird, aka Lil Dicky, essentially playing himself, an aspiring suburbanite rapper who wants to convince everybody that he is one of the greatest rappers of all time. If you haven't checked out Lil Dicky's YouTube videos like Lemmy Freak, White Crime, and Pillow Talking, I cannot recommend them enough. The show shoots in Los Angeles and features great music talent like YG, Trippie Redd, Young Thug, Justin Bieber, producer Benny Blanco, and so many more. Like Mythic Quest, this show surprised me with its earnesty and heart. Shout out to Dave's hype man on the show, who is played by his real-life hype man, Gata. It's revealed halfway through the season that Gata is bipolar.
Makes me feel like a rat in a hole sometimes. Like, I gotta express this to you, bro. Hot, cold, that's me. I never tell nobody this type of shit, bro. Never, ever. Shit's embarrassing, bro. Like, I've been like this for a while.
We appreciate you sharing all this with us. Like, seriously, you can tell us any of this stuff.
I love y'all, man, and you guys make me feel comfortable. You guys are weirdos just like me, bro. This dude rap about having a small dick all the time. This dude right here rubs acne on his back, no problem. This dude back here dresses cool as fuck. He knows all the hip-hop urban lingo, but pronounces all his words properly. And I'm really bipolar, bruh. Like, really bipolar.
I have never seen a character like that on TV before, and I thought it was really cool to see his friends embrace him for his vulnerability instead of busting his balls about it. Another standout on the show is Taylor Mishak, who plays Dave's girlfriend, Allie, and she really gets to shine in episode 9 titled Allie's Toast. Throughout the series, you can tell that she is the grounding force in Dave's life, and he's struggling to be the boyfriend she deserves, but also the great rapper that he feels he has to be. Like Gata, Taylor has worked with Dave before on his Pillow Talking music video, which once again, I highly recommend checking out. What I gathered from watching Dave and from learning more about Dave Bird as a person is that his character's genuineness and genius is no coincidence. That's just who he is. He's loyal to the people in his life, and he wants to bring them on board this crazy ride. And I can't wait to see what other shenanigans Dave and his fellow castmates get into in season 2. Dave is streaming right now on Hulu, and you will burn through all 10 episodes in no time. That brings us to the end of the show. Thank you guys so much for watching. What did you guys think of these 5 shows? Leave your comments below. Click the subscribe button on your screen as always, and I will see you next Thursday for another episode of Watch Women. See ya.